it may fail horribly. He obviously had bottled up some rage. We're on pause right now.
Several months ago, we started clearing the space around the mountain track leading from the local road up to our house. I purposefully call it a track as it didn't resemble a road in any way, shape, or form. But with a lot of gravel and concrete and manual labor, it would soon become our driveway. Beside the driveway, I've always envisioned a boulder retaining wall. This would be comprised of 45 tons of rock I had recently received from a local contractor. After putting down the largest boulders prior to pouring our driveway, last week we started building the rock wall on top of those boulders in earnest. This week we will finish this portion of the wall.
ジョンの仕事がどうのこうのじゃなくて
そうそうそう。
服の方
袋じゃなくて服。
洋服の方だったっけ、ちょっと仕事のコメントじゃなかった。
みちおさんが人気になってる。
俺も YouTube やここへ旅しに行ったら「あ、みちおさん!」とか。そうそうそう。
絞られてみた。Legally, we can't go over 2 meters for a retaining wall. But in this case, we can go right to 2 meters, and then we're going to pour about 6 centimeters of gravel and concrete when we do the driveway. We're just discussing, we think we need one more truckload just for this little bit here. Yeah. So off again for truckload number 3 this morning. Alright, Jai, to go to Okay, we're making progress. We are about 50 centimeters from our 2-meter mark. And we'll get the third to last row done today. And then we've got 2 more rows waiting for us when we come back after the holidays. We've got plenty of supplies today, lots of rocks, enough gravel, enough mortar to get us through today. We get through today and I get probably 3 days of holiday then. So this is a method that Michio taught me just a while ago. It seems pretty wasteful of mortar because you drop a lot, but mortar's pretty cheap. And the goal is to smear it in there so that it doesn't sag or sink while it dries a little bit. And then you come back after a while and you clean up with water and brush all the edges. It's only about 6 degrees out here this morning, and working with damp gloves is freezing. So I'm going to take my rubber gloves and put them over the heater for 10 minutes. See if I can warm up the fingertips. And in the meantime, I'll just wear some leather gloves and not do any work. Put them on now. Ooh. Hot, 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 hot. Actually, a little bit too hot. Our 2-meter mark is right here, and we're probably about 4 or 5 centimeters below that at the top. On top of this, we're going to put 4 or 5 centimeters of concrete to act as a cover, rain guard, protector type of thing, and then that's it. So we're going to try and achieve this same height as we go up to the end of the part that we're now working on. So we're at a juncture in the progress because right now we're just approaching the New Year's season for Japan, and everything's going to shut down for anywhere between 4 and 10 days, depending on the store. So that's one issue. I've got to have all my supplies if I want to work through the holidays, which I do. I want to have all my supplies in place. And right now, actually, the only supply that is available to us is the mortar and the concrete mix. So for securing the rocks and capping the rocks, we have what we need. I don't know how to explain this next part to you, so I'm not going to right now, but we have lost access to our cheap, convenient, really, really necessary recycled gravel. More on that later. But we do have enough to just finish filling the wall, we think, up to the halfway point. The other thing we've run out of is big rocks. We have no more. We've got a lot of, basketball size rocks left. And that's good for the top. And that's what we'll have to use to finish off this lower half of the wall. But we can't use them to do the top half of the wall. So that's going to be another project some months down the road. Okay, enough talking. Let's get this wall finished. So I haven't been talking much about the fitting process, fitting the rock into the wall, because it's kind of boring, it's kind of intuitive. For me, there's no real science to it. I'm just a beginner. But basically, you want to have the slope of the wall going up like this, with the top going towards the mountain. And this rock is a good example of kind of what you want and what you don't want. It fits perfectly into this area. And it has a nice-ish flat top. We're still one layer below the string line, but still working with this nice flat top is a good thing. However, you can see that the wall comes up like this, and then this particular rock comes out like this. Now this is a really soft sandstone, so I'm going to try and break off a little bit of the top here to see if I can make a correct slope. And it may fail horribly, but I really like the way it fits onto these other rocks, so I want to try it.
Christmas に七面鳥食わなかったからお腹すいた。
少し今の状態はどう？そこから見るとまだこっちになってる？
まだ下から行くとこういう感じになってるね。
ダメだね。これはこの下の部分はちょうど下の石に合わすので、使いたい。だけどさ、
後ろの今座ってるのが後ろの砂利ちと
取れると。
で
まだまだちょっとまっすぐ。
それでまっすぐぐらいだね今ね。こっから見るとさ、でもそんな変ではないのよ。
そうなの？
横から見るとね。こうはなってきてるけど。
そうだろうね。そんなに悪くはない。
悪くはない。こっから見てるとね。今のこう膨らみがあるから、そんな変じゃないよ。
OK。もう少しちょっとだけ。
座りが良ければその方が。
座りがちょうどいいです。
いいと思うよ。変じゃない。
OK。Okay, well, we have agreed that this is going to work. And look at the pretty face that shows. And that's the process of adjusting your rocks.
もう4袋5袋くらい。
大丈夫？うん。ここから見るとそれは大丈夫だよ。高さはちょうどいい。
下取ってカチッと。
Okay, we're down to the last little bit. I think I've got maybe, I don't know, five or six rocks. So this load of gravel, which is washed river rock, a natural resource, which I'm using as backfill, which is wasteful, cost 5,000 yen, 5,300 yen. The same volume from my recycled gravel yard would cost 520 yen, so 1/10 of the price. Let me try and explain this. I've been using a local mom and pop shop for a couple of years, but I've been using it a lot for the last 3 months as I was building this road, driveway, and rock retaining wall. And I thought I was being a great customer. I'm loyal, I go there as much as possible, I buy as much as possible, but I found out I'm not a great customer. It turns out this is a mom and pop shop. It's a family-run business. The father is the president. The mother and the daughter run the cash register and the weigh scales, and they have a team of 20 or 30 workers. I've been rolling in there with my little mini dump truck here, doing exactly what I bought it for, doing exactly what it was made for. I knew that no big dump truck can access my mountain. No big dump truck can navigate this first steep incline, and no big dump truck can get up this second run. The K dump truck, and the reason why I bought it, is to get up onto my site. So I've been going and getting loads of gravel. The capacity on this is 350 kilograms. It's stated clearly. Everybody knows that a K truck has a 350 kilogram capacity. I would always get as much as I could carry from the gravel shop, and oftentimes it was more, not to my liking, but they would put in more, and there's no way to judge it until you get to the weigh scale. Because this is a mom and pop shop, the father was the one who often drove the front end loader that would scoop up the gravel and dump it in my truck. And as I said, I've been going there a lot. In the course of 2 days in November, I was there 16 times. So every hour on the hour, I would roll up with my little K dump truck, and father would have to come out and dump a load into it. Again, I thought I was being a great customer, loyal, constantly buying. But father, it seems, was harboring anger, resentment. He didn't like filling up a mini dump truck. He wants to fill up a 2-ton or a 4-ton truck and be done with it. And he bit his tongue for the last 2 or 3 months that I was popping in there regularly. Finally, a couple of days ago, for no apparent reason, he exploded. He blew up like a volcano and lashed out at me from the door of his front end loader. He threw open the door and said, "Why are you taking so little? Why don't you take some more? If you have the space, you should take some more." This is when we had 400 kilograms already in the dump truck, right? And he really did start screaming at me. And I've never been verbally attacked like this in Japan in 39 years. He obviously had bottled up some rage for several months, and it released that day. And he accused me of being a bad customer, wasting his time, putting everybody to extra work when they didn't have to. And he said, "This is not going to continue." And later, one of the cashiers, I don't know if it was the daughter, I don't think it was the daughter, but another lady who's a cashier came down and gave me a little map she had drawn to another place that might sell me some gravel. And apologized for father, saying he's an old man, you know, please forgive him. But it turns out he just resented having to fill up my little dump truck. And that's the end of that relationship. I can no longer go there for loads of recycled gravel at 1/10 the price of what I'm paying right now. This is not a Japanese foreign thing. This is not a DIY versus pro thing. This is very much a temperamental old man thing. And you know, I pay the price. So I have no more access to recycled gravel unless somehow I rent a 2-ton or 4-ton dump truck. I park it down at the bottom. I use the excavator to load it into my mini dump to climb up this little bit of hill. And I spend days doing that to get some gravel up there. I mean, that's probably what I'll have to do. Anyway, that was a body blow to me. That explosion of his, it rocked me, you know, my mental state. I was just so taken aback by it. I really couldn't function for a day and a half after that. Yeah. So I think I have the final rows in place. Now our strategy has always been to set the rocks in place dry first, then mix the mortar, move the rocks off, place the mortar, and then put the rock back on. The challenge is always, the rock gets always moved just a little bit, and it's really easy to forget the facing face of the rock, the exact orientation. So I'm gonna actually take a picture. Okay. Okay, the golden cornerstone for this phase of the rock wall. So now we are out of big rocks, big boulders for this part of the wall. We have maybe 4 bags plus what you see on the ground here left of little rocks, which isn't near enough. So we're on pause right now for the remaining part of the rock wall. However, the good part of this is we've done this part to the regulation height. If the authorities come to have a look, do any kind of drop-by inspection or anything, this shows to them our intent and our following the rules, not going over 2 meters, for example. So yeah, this is a good start to the rock wall. I'm happy to finish. So now I've got to cap it all with concrete. And I've got a truck full. So this afternoon and tomorrow is all concrete capping. Let's get to it. Today is December 31st, 2025, the last day of the year. Finished off a good mini project, partial project, let's call it. And now we're ready to move on to bigger and better things. Next week, we come back and we start skinning the bark off of these 6 logs, rigging up some kind of yarder system, a timber yarder system, I think, between one of these trees and something up there, cutting to size and getting them up there. There's a lot to do, folks, but it's all going to happen in 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for hanging around. We'll see you soon.